So a couple of years ago, Fujifilm released their X-A3, which proves to be one of their most popular cameras on the market. It had amazing performance, still boasted Fuji's amazing colors, and it was all for a really good price. So in 2018, they updated the X-A3 to the X-A5, and we're going to take it out for a spin. So if you're in Sydney and it says no smoking in this area, definitely means no, comma, smoking is allowed in this area. So the Fujifilm X-A5, it is an entry-level camera from Fujifilm designed for the beginner photographer and video person in mind. Firstly, to start off, in terms of the actual body itself, it's made of a reinforced plastic which feels metal-like. So you can hold it with confidence to know that it's durable, and it's got a decent grip and weight to it as well. It's a bit heavier than the X-A3, however, it's not heavy to the point where you're gonna strain your wrists all day using this. It's actually quite light. In terms of the actual controls on the camera, it's just like their entry-level Fujifilm range from the X-A3 or the X-T100. You've got a mode dial at the top, which you can go through your manual functions as well as your typical creative modes. At the back, you've got your video recording button, your playback features, and your D-pad that you can change your self-timing, drive mode, menu settings, etc. On the side of the X-A5, you've got a micro HDMI port and a USB port for charging as well as data transfer. And at the bottom of the camera, it uses the same MPW126 battery as most of the Fujifilm range, as well as one SD card port. In terms of the pop-up flash, it is a fully manual pop-up flash, so you have to pop it up when you need it. But the best thing about it, because it's on this little bracket, you can bounce it, which is pretty neat. On the back of the camera, it's got a really large 3-inch touchscreen, which also allows you to do 180 selfie mode, which is definitely the most important feature of this screen, and also tilt down 45 degrees as well. The amount of weird looks I just got just shooting the floor. Does have a 3-inch touchscreen, which is quite responsive. You can use it for two features. So in terms of autofocus, one, you can just touch and it will instantly shoot. The other one, you can just touch and it's just like selecting autofocus, which is really handy, especially for people who have it mounted on a tripod, or if you're really used to using a smartphone to take your photos, then setting up like this is quite simple. But also, when you go into your playback menu, you can review your photos, pinch and zoom. It's all quite dandy. The autofocus, the X-A5 has a brand new hybrid 91 autofocus point system, which is a combination of contrast and face detection points. So in terms of its actual speed, it's definitely a lot faster than the X-A3. I haven't really tested the tracking on this. With the X-A3, the tracking wasn't too great, so I'll see how this goes with that in autofocus. But just shooting it on the street and really just trying to nail your subject in perfect focus, X-A5 is quite quick. Not sure how it performs in video, but let's see how it goes. 15 frames per second, 4K video. So shooting in 1080-60 definitely looks a lot better. So autofocus and video, it's actually okay. It does tend to hunt a bit. That might be partially due to the kit lens being a power zoom lens. But otherwise it's actually quite decent in autofocus and video. So in terms of low light performance, I'm shooting these shots right now at about 5000 ISO. Doesn't look too noisy at the back of camera. It definitely does have a bit of color noise, but not too much for you not to be able to correct it, which is pretty good considering the price you pay for one of these, and that's an APS-C sensor. So just to go over the key features of the Fujifilm X-A5. So first off, it's got the same sensor as the X-A3 with the 24.2 megapixel APS-C CMOS sensor with an updated processor, which will allow you to have a native ISO range of 200 to 12,800, continuous shooting speeds up to 6 frames per second, and 4K burst up to 15 frames per second. In terms of video, it can do 4K up to 15 frames per second for only up to 5 minutes, which is debatably useful. In addition, it can do Full HD up to 60 frames per second. As I mentioned before, it's got a hybrid 91-point autofocus system, which combines contrast and face detection points for better tracking and speed. And lastly, it's got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth for you to connect to your smart device to transfer photos and videos straight to your smart device, or use your smart device as a controller. So if you watched my XT100 video, you would have noticed me ranting about how the wheel on the ISO, it's reverse. Well, it's the same in the X-A5. So if you roll it to the left, the ISO bumps up, and if you roll it to the right, the ISO goes down. But everything else goes the right way. But why though? So the kit lens that it comes with is a power zoom 15 to 45, part of their XC lineup. So yes, it is a kit lens. It feels really lightweight because it's predominantly made of plastic. To be honest with you, the manual focus ring does not feel that great, and it is a power zoom lens, so you can't really fine tune the zoom focal length that you need. You kind of have to like work with the power zoom. Where that does come in handy though, if you are shooting video and you want to smoothly zoom in and out, then this lens is really good for that. If you're a photographer on the other hand, and you really want to quickly get to a certain spot in the focal length, like if it's on 15mm and you really want to quickly go to 45mm in case you miss a shot, you have to wait for it to slowly go from 15 to 45. Which is a bit of a downside. However, honestly, from what I can see at the back of the camera, the images look good. It's a decent kit lens. So in terms of autofocus, like I said before, I was going to test the tracking and it's okay. It's hit and miss sometimes. I just did a couple burst scenes. The first one didn't come out too well. It tended to miss about halfway through the frame. I'm just shooting like cars and buses drive past it. And then I got one that was quite good. So it's a bit inconsistent. In video, it's not that great. In comparison to other cameras out there on the market around this price point, there are some cameras that can do quite good tracking, and autofocus in video is really swift. In the defense of this camera though, I think it would perform better in autofocus if we were using an XF lens. However, it's just the standard kit lens, probably is a bit slow to focus. In terms of the actual images that look at the back of the camera, they look pretty good. I wish this LCD though displayed a bit better. I'm sure the photos that we're gonna punch through on the computer are gonna look better than what's at the back of here. Usually that is the case, but this screen doesn't look that great. It feels like everything's just a tad blurry, or maybe I just need new glasses. That could be bad. And in terms of battery life, it lasts pretty long, honestly, compared to the X-A3. I feel you could get maybe an extra 20 to 30 shots out of this. I've been using it for a bit, especially in video, and it hasn't really drained down too much, so that's good. Let's have a look at the samples. Today's sample images were shot with a Fujifilm X-A5 with the kit lens XC 15 to 45mm lens. Like any other Fujifilm camera, the images are punchy, filled with color, and give enough contrast in the JPEGs for you to instantly share with your loved ones. In the RAWs, they have enough dynamic range for you to play with in post. With the 15 to 45mm, there is a bit of distortion at 15mm and a bit of chromatic aberration as well. Noise performance is decent though, but we don't recommend punching it above 3200 ISO. Considering the price, it's definitely punching above its weight and a high-performing entry-level camera for photography. In terms of video, it's definitely not the greatest camera for video compared to its competitors, especially when talking about its features and flexibility. However, if you're a photographer looking to do casual video or you're a vlogger, the X-A5 colors and overall look of video is great. One thing I did notice about this camera though, if you are going to be using it for vlogging, which is awesome because it's got great depth of field, the APS-C sensor is really good for that, and let's not forget Mr. 180 selfie screen. The only issue is it doesn't have a microphone port. They should have just put one in. If you're looking for an entry-level camera that's great for photography, compact enough to travel with, and to do a bit of video, then the X-A5 is a camera that's definitely one to consider. Because one, it's under $1,000, it's got a pack load of features for photography, and you get the iconic Fujifilm look. If you're predominantly a videographer or vlogger, the X-A5, although does produce some nice video, if you're looking to do 4K, it's probably not the camera to go for. And if you are looking to buy microphones or even look for a camera that has decent in-body image stabilization, then the X-A5 does lack those features. Where we recommend the X-A5, if you are a person who predominantly does photography and is looking to do a bit of video work and is on a budget, then the X-A5 is huge bang for your buck. And we definitely recommend it for people who are just starting out and who are looking to travel light. If you have any questions on the X-A5, make sure to pop them in the comments below. Follow us on our Facebook, Instagram, and our blog, which links to those are in our description. Where else would the description be? If you liked our video, make sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button so you don't miss out on our next update as we upload videos every Tuesday and Thursday. Talk about new perspectives with tilting screens, check this one out. It's designed for people like me where I am super short. And I put the screen down. There was a viewfinder, but I touched it with my nose and it took a photo.